Hi, it's Kiff and Bates here, and today I want to talk a bit about trade-offs in blockchain and distributed ledger technology platforms and environments, because I've talked before about how, to me, the core thing about a traditional blockchain, a real open permissionless one, is this control that you have, that you really do have a sense of digital ownership. And when you move more towards permissioned ledgers, then you are giving up some of that control in order to gain other efficiencies. And those efficiencies might be, for example, faster transaction speeds or reversibility of transactions under certain circumstances where it's deemed necessary. This, I think, is where you hit this problem where people discuss these different technologies and get up in arms about it. You know, it reminds me of the PC versus Mac debates that my friends used to have, or the Windows versus Linux ones. And obviously PCs are better than Macs, and because you've got more control over them, and obviously Linux is better than Microsoft's Windows because you have more control over it. But that's only important if what you want is that control, the ability to pull pieces out and put other bits in, or the ability to go and look at the source code and make changes as you see fit. Whereas if your need is one of predictability or reliability or compatibility, then you may select one of the other operating systems. And exactly the same thing is happening in the blockchain world, namely that you have purists who say that blockchains have to be open and public, and that's because they're focusing on censorship resistance and ownership, and that's what they see as the absolute pinnacle of what needs to be achieved. Whereas other people may be saying, yes, we want to have a more open system than a database with an API controlled by one entity, but we still want to have a much higher transaction rate, or we still want there to be a number of entities perhaps who are fundamentally in control, because it gives you a good feeling if you know that there are some companies out there who are depending on this for their livelihood, actually ensuring that your system is working, rather than just hoping that the wisdom of the crowds and the effort of the open source community will somehow make it all work out nicely. So I'm going to keep this one brief. I think I've touched on enough points there. It's the problem you're trying to solve. And the problem that blockchain is trying to solve is not a single problem. It depends on the case and the fact that we are still trying to work out the new business models that will apply here, and the new economics of the situation is something that makes it much, much harder. It's not just, hey, I've got a great new idea for a push-up counting app. We're going to push it out on this store and we'll set up a website. It's a much more complicated problem that is being that a solution is being looked for. So that's just my take on that area. Hope you found it interesting, and see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.